So thank you very much for the kind introduction. I'm Kirsty Hall, business developer at Natural Trace. Natural Trace is a Singapore-based biotechnology company who are revolutionising food traceability. The way we do this is we naturally tag the food and not the packaging. So I thought most of you in the room probably don't know who Natural Trace is, and so I'd like to give a little bit of an introduction to you. We were founded in 2021 when the advancements in PCR technology were well underway. And we have an international team with expertise in food science, life science and bioinformatics. And we have key partnerships with the National University of Singapore and the Food Authenticity Network over in the UK. We have a production site that has all the relevant certifications and licenses. And I thought I'd share a little win that we had recently where we were announced the winner of the Food Ingredients Europe Startup Challenge for the most digital and innovative solution for the food and beverage industry. Okay, I think that's jumped there. I've gone way too far forward. Okay, so why are we here? We are here to help brands and producers deliver their promise in traceability and transparency. And our motto, we would like to see a world where every great product comes with a trusted provenance story. But there is a problem. Unfortunately, recently the World Trade Organization reported that there is a $50 billion loss every year to food fraud. This is a greater figure than other illicit trades, such as firearms and even heroin. So it's quite extensive and affects everyone at all different levels. So the key problems with food fraud. You may be familiar with some of these, but there are instances in the supply chain where there are substitutions made with cheaper, ineffective or lower grade quality ingredients. And some products are manufactured or diluted by bad actors in the supply chain. And some that you may be familiar with is adulteration, where a product is tampered with maliciously or for financial gain. And counterfeiting is where obviously a product is pretending to be something it's not. And unfortunately, this is happening across the globe in all various markets. And when fraud infiltrates a supply chain, there is loss of product integrity and the very important intellectual property, where I imagine most of you in this room work in this awesome industry where you've invested time, money and knowledge into the produce that you are creating, and so it is definitely worth protecting. The food supply chain is quite complex and there are many moving parts, and that's why it's very important that today we go beyond one step back and one step forward in traceability. Can you confidently say where every product, or in this case berries, comes from? How vulnerable is your supply chain to fraud? So how do we build trust? So at Natural Trace, we're delivering value across the supply chain, and we find that these three key areas is where our customers see the most advantage to implementing new traceability technology. By protecting IP and enhancing traceability, there is value to your brand. As we heard earlier today, regulations are evolving, and the need for end-to-end traceability is clear. Beyond compliance, traceability builds trust and strengthens these business relationships. So, I'd like to introduce you to our new technology. It is called Natural Tag. It is a 100% natural, food-safe bio-barcode that is GMO-free and offers a unique tagging system. It is made from inactivated probiotics and it is applied to products in extremely low doses at the parts per million level, with no impact to taste, texture, or quality to the products it's applied to. And the best part about Natural Tag is that each tag is unique and can be customised to verify country of origin, a particular farm, a particular variety, a particular batch, or harvest location, for instance. It forms part of a three-step solution. So the Natural Tag is applied to products, and then we can detect it with our sensitive detection method, which is based off PCR. And then lastly, we have Natural Cloud, which is the digital link that links the supply chain data from the solution. So we can tag, detect, and then confirm the product's origin and where it has come from. Here are some of the food matrices that our company have been working with. We have particular projects around the globe that we are working on, as well as commercial customers. So I'll just touch on, we have experience in green coffee, nuts, and one key one is nutraceuticals and dietary supplements. Some of you may be familiar with that. Unfortunately, in some of these online platforms, there is a lot of counterfeit product out there. So that's where traceability and authentication of products is key. But I'm here today to talk about fruit and berries. So when you're working with Natural Trace, we have our team here, and I was meant to have this in another section, but we have experience in food science and life science and bioinformatics, and these people on the screen represent 5 different countries, with myself based here in Tasmania. So our project implementation process starts with a conversation with someone who's looking to protect their products. And we complete a compatibility assessment where we work with the product they wish to tag and work out what that matrix looks like. We then move through to a pilot trial, which I'll be discussing a trial that we've worked on in the berries shortly, and then look to roll out a full-scale commercial trial through the entire supply chain. So, like with all new innovations, we have a patent protection in place for our new technology in Natural Tag. And for those in the room who are interested in our regulatory status, the Natural Tag itself has been self-determined as GRAS, or what we call generally recognised as safe, over in the US by 2 independent scientists. And then here in Australia and over in the EU, we have developed in collaboration with our regulatory advisors a decision tree which is specific to different matrices, because there are different requirements depending on which region you are in and which way you are applying it in the supply chain. And in most cases, the way that the tag is applied, it is determined as a processing aid or just as an ingoing food ingredient. So delving a little bit deeper into the technology and how it works. So when we are receiving a product and determining a compatibility assessment, we, over on the left-hand side here, determine what the background signal is within that product. We then create a bespoke Natural Tag signature, which is unique to that product. And following this, we then validate and verify by detecting it within the matrix. And this also helps determine the limit of detection for us. We take the opportunity to measure stability at this point, and then we optimise the detection method. And so validation of the Natural Tag is where we look for that DNA profile. And as you can see here, which is a strawberry signature, where we have the reference sample and then we have been able to recover what we have determined as that unique signature. So what does this mean for the supply chain? So it's all well and good to tag the product, but where is the value in tagging a product and understanding its traceability? Here is an example of the berry supply chain, where at production level or on the farm for growers, we can apply the tag. And then berries move through quite a complicated supply chain depending on their end destination. So there are many touch points across the supply chain, and we work with clients and customers to determine where the gaps are and where they would like to identify or verify the origin of their product. So here in this example, we've tagged it on the farm. It then moves through the supply chain, either through the fresh supply domestic market, making its way to the supermarket DC, where that receiving DC can then test and verify the origin of that product, or if you are exporting. So this is quite important for country of origin. So Australian produce and protecting Australian origin is very important because it attracts that brand premium. And being able to verify at the destination port is quite important when it's moving through the supply chain. So this is just one example of how it can work, and all this data feeds back into the natural cloud. So, thanks to the team at Hillwood, we started off with one of those great conversations, and we got to understand that traceability is very important for the berry industry. And so we looked to work together on implementing a trial where the tag would be applied to strawberries. And so it's a simplified version of how we implemented the trial. So we looked to identify a unique, I suppose, the spray regime application, where we identified a specific fungicide where the tag could be applied into their regular spray regime. Now, obviously, the tag is added at very small quantities, and so it is then applied to the spray blend or mix, applied to the fruit, and then those fruits are picked, and we were able to test and verify them. So we completed one trial, and I'm also going to explain our second trial. So our second trial here, we applied it in week 1 and then again in week 3. A few photos to just explain a bit further. So on the left there, we applied the tag to the mixing tank. It was then simply sprayed onto the berries. We were then able to pick the specific samples and then take it to our lab in Singapore, and we were able to detect the tag. So looking at the results, so the first trial was a proof of concept trial where we applied the tag to one spray, and this was applied to a hectare of strawberries. And those samples after that spray, we were able to identify and detect the tag across the various samples. And so this gave us the results we needed to move forward into the second trial. And so the second trial was an expanded time frame. As I mentioned, week 1, we applied the tag and we took samples at each week across the various rows, and then we also applied it in week 3. And then again, a few more weeks where we took each sample. So on the right-hand side here is the 6 specific data points that we look for when we are detecting the natural tag signal. So for each actual sample result, we've consolidated the results for you here today. And as you can see, as we move through from week 1 through to week 5, in most cases the tag was detected. We did have a border reading which was at the week 3 mark, but this was prior to the second spray application being applied. And so whilst it was still detected, it wasn't at the level of the others as well, and just close to the borderline threshold. So the majority of samples were accurately determined to their classification, and the natural tag signature remained strong across 2 weeks, And during the actual growing cycle, there are other sprays and other environmental factors that we were looking at to see if that also impacted whether the tag remained. And the Hillwood team also helped us by assessing the sensory aspects of the strawberries, and so there was no impact to taste, texture or quality. And so also the natural tag signature was effective in the fungicide blend. And now we are looking at expanding the trials to look at more extensive growing cycle and different berry species. So I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Simon, Andrea, Michaela and the Hillwood team for working with us on this project. And it's quite exciting to see where biotechnology can cross over into the food industry and in particular the berry industry. And so I just want to touch on some key takeaways. Natural Trace provides a non-GMO tagging system and is the world's first food safe tag. And it complements existing and new barcodes and QR codes and other ERP systems as an extra layer of verification to traceability. And we are able to, with our technology, authenticate products as it moves through the supply chain. And it offers a multi-level traceability where each tag has a unique ID. And so we can design and customise these depending on how our customers wish to apply them. So thank you very much, everyone. It's quite exciting new technology for traceability. And thank you to Berries Australia for having me along today. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. But I'll thank you all.